So today I was wondering if I can beat Hollow Knight Silksong while cursed mode. This means no healing, no skills, no tools, and no mercy. So today we're gonna try to complete this challenge. I'm on a challenge to complete a bunch of Hollow Knight Silksong challenges before I can hit 1,000 subscribers, and if I can't do that, I have to beat the game without getting hit. So make sure to drop a like and subscribe. Bruh. Anyways, I bind it at the first start, Moss Grotto, and this technique is going to be very useful for jumps later. Just look how much reach I got. Anyways, I did some more parkour, defeating enemies, going along this pathway, resting at this bench. Then now we're gonna take on the first main story boss while in cursed mode. Fighting Moss Mother in cursed mode wasn't too bad, but I had to play a lot more careful than normal. I still had 5 masks, but without healing or tools, every bit of damage stuck with me for the rest of the fight. Moss Mother's swings are slow but wide, so I had to time my dodges right and keep space between us. She flies around the walls and drops down pretty hard, so it's easy to get hit if you're not watching her movements. Since I couldn't use any skills even though I didn't have any, I had to rely only on my needle. It's a simple fight, but in cursed mode, even the easy ones make you focus more because you don't have any backup if things go wrong. Once I got used to her movement and stopped rushing, the fight went smooth, and beating her felt like a clean start to a challenge. Now there is a way to skip Bell Beast, which I'm doing right here on the screen right now, but there's no legitimate way to get to Deep Docks without it. I can make my way all the way to Shellwood, but I can't go back to Deep Docks from here. I can make my way all the way to Greymore, but I still can't go down. You need the dash and you need the Drifter's Cloak to complete the game. I can even make it to Bellheart as well. I tried multiple ways, nothing would work. So the only thing I came up with was to remove the cursed, get the Silk Spear, and then defeat the boss Bell Beast and turn cursed mode back on. I tried to figure out a way, I really did, but I just couldn't. There's no legitimate way to do it. I'm sorry! Anyways, after we got past that shenanigans, we actually made it to the Marrow this time. I turned the curse mode back on, obviously. All I was doing really was just doing more parkour, entering like this grass area, dodging all the enemies, trying to avoid getting hit. I actually entered another wave of mini bosses over here, this time with just full of bugs and not like skulls. They actually ended up beating my butt. But after I came back stronger, I defeated them and then went along the pathway over here and made it to this section, which I binded, and I finally learned the dash. This is the most useful thing in the entire game. I cracked this open, and then now we're gonna fight Lace. Lace doesn't waste a second. The moment the fight starts, she's already in the air, flipping across the room with that needle swing that comes out faster than I expect every single time. I'm keeping up, but it's one of those fights where you can't lose focus for even half a second. A few times I almost slipped, missed time to dodge, or barely landed before she came flying back in, but I managed to pull it together right after. Her attacks come quick, but once you catch the rhythm, it feels like a constant back and forth, both of us trying to close distance and strike first. I started reading her better as it went on, watching the little pause before she lunged, catching her when she tried to reset position. It wasn't an easy fight, but it felt fair. The whole fight felt like walking on a tightrope. One wrong step and I was done. Every second felt tense, but in a good way, where you can feel yourself improving as it goes on. By the end, my hands were locked in on the controller, my focus was completely shot, but I managed to stay calm enough to finish her off. It was because I actually learned her flow, hit by hit, and I'm actually getting pretty close to being able to no-hit this boss. But basically after that, we finally enter like the grass area, which is called Farfields. This area is just filled with bugs, wave of mini bosses, enemies all over the place. We walked across this big bug, which we're gonna fight later. The street, I will beat your motherfucker. Then I promised him a wish that I actually will keep. I know I say that every single time, but anyways, we had to hunt for 25 spawn core, and then we basically went back to him, granted the wish, and we got the Drifter's Cloak. Now we're gonna glide down and fight this big beastie bug over here. This is another boss that I'm actually getting pretty close to no-hitting. I just kept like dodging and everything, but his fireballs just made me choke, so yeah. The fight with 4 Taurus in curse mode was intense from the start. Without any skills or tools, I had to rely entirely on dodging and timing my hits just right. The boss slammed with his hand, swiped across the floor, and sent fireballs and rocks flying, so I had to keep moving constantly to avoid getting hit. The arena itself wasn't safe either. Platforms could break under pressure, and one wrong step meant falling or getting trapped. I spent most of the fight watching for brief moments when the 4th Taurus's head was open and vulnerable, rushing in quickly to hit it and then backing out just as fast before another attack came. There were a few times where I died jumping too late or landing a hit off balance, but I managed to recover and keep the fight under control. Every phase of the fight pushed me to stay fully focused, paying attention to the floor, the platforms, and the boss's attacks at the same time. By the end, it felt like a complete test of timing and patience. Every strike I landed was earned, and even without skills or tools, keeping calm and reacting quickly got me through the whole fight. Shut the fuck Obviously, after that, we jumped through some whirlpools and we entered Greymore. Now, I'm obviously not new to this area since we did go here before. I even fought the Bell Beast. Anyways, I just kept running through it, also entering Bellheart. I'm not new to this area either, and we finally entered the area that I really need, Shellwood. Shellwood is just a big green area with all parts of parkour and everything like that. So what I essentially did, just doing some more parkour, jumping up on these leaves, we entered the Sister Splinter boss fight in Cursed mode. Sister Splinter in Cursed mode was intense from the moment the fight started. She moves fast, slamming the ground with her claws over and over, and if I wasn't careful, I'd get hit almost instantly. I had to keep my distance sometimes, then quickly move in to land hits when she paused it for just a moment. She also summons Splinter Beaks, which are fast little minions that swarm you if you don't take them out quickly. So I had to decide whether to focus on her or deal with them first. On top of that, sharp vines would pop up from the ground, blocking paths and forcing me to adjust my position constantly. I relied on precise timing, dodging in the right direction, and jumping in for quick hits, but every attack had to count because I couldn't heal or use any skills. There were moments where she almost trapped me in a corner, so I had to back off and reset my positioning before going in again. The fight kept me moving and thinking the entire time, balancing between attacking, dodging, and handling the minions. By the end, my focus was completely locked in, and every hit I landed felt earned, and when she finally went down, it wasn't just a relief, it was a satisfaction of surviving a fight that pushed every part of my reaction and timing, and it made me more ready for challenges ahead. I'm always out of breath whenever I finish reading, but after I binded at this section, I finally learned the cling grip. Now I'm able to walk line. We basically entered Bellheart again, and now we're gonna speak to Widow and beat the Widow in Curse mode is tough right from the start, and the moment the fight begins, you realize there's no room for mistakes. She moves fast, swinging her long legs and doing quick lunges that cover almost every angle of the arena. She can hit you before you even react. Her spinning attacks are especially dangerous because she swings around in circles, and one wrong dodge can lead to taking damage that sticks for the rest of the fight. I had to stay on the move the entire time, jumping, timing, and rolling and keeping space so I could avoid her at all times. There were times where she would follow up an attack immediately with another, leaving almost no pause, and I had to back off and reset my position before going in again. Because I couldn't heal or use any skills, every hit I took felt heavier, so I had to focus completely and make each attack count. The whole battle felt like a test of patience and focus, balancing dodges, jumps, and attacks perfectly. By the time she finally went down, I was completely locked in, and it felt like I had survived something relentless. A fight that pushed all my timing, positioning, and attention to the limit. It was about surviving every second without messing up. But after that, we basically entered like another silk spiderweb thing. This happens every single time. I rested at the bench over here, and we entered the new area called Sinner's Road. This area is just full of poison water.
Brother,
Just mainly disgusting stuff. We also enter like the mist area where we need to find 3 singing birds. We need to sing them a song. I acquired the Needlon after beating Widow, so I found them, sang them a song, and they led me the path away to the exhaust organ. And then now we're gonna fight one of my personal favorite bosses in the entire game. The Phantom fight in Curse mode is one of my favorite fights because it's fast and keeps you completely locked in from start to finish. As soon as the fight starts, it's already moving, lunges, spins, and slashes that don't give you a second to relax. I had to stay on the move the whole time, rolling, jumping, and dodging in every direction just to avoid taking hits. There were moments where I almost got hit because one of its attacks came out faster than I expected, but I managed to pull back and reset before it could land.
yeah, boy.
The patterns are quick, but once you start reading them, you can find tiny openings to land a hit or two before dodging again. I couldn't heal or use skills, so every hit I took counted, which made staying focused even more important. And the Phantom finally fell. It was satisfying, but I ended up learning the cross stitch, even though I can't use it, but hey, I can't complain. Anyways, after that, we went up this elevator, doing some more parkour, dodging the spikes, and wall climbing. We finally entered Act 2. We talked to Lace, and as soon as she sent her little goons down, I ran away immediately. These are the most annoying little enemies ever. I rested at this bench over here, and I also obtained the white key, which I'm gonna need later for something, and now we're gonna fight the Cogwork Dancers. The Cogwork Dancers fight in Curse mode is one of those battles that keeps you on edge the entire time, because there are 2 of them, and they move so fast together that you can't just focus on one. Right from the start, they spin, jump, and dash across the arena, switching directions quickly, so I had to dash, jump, and stay aware of both at the same time. I tried landing hits whenever one paused, but the other would just come in immediately, forcing me to pull back and adjust my position consistently. Sometimes I always got cornered and I had to scramble out of the way, but other times I was able to land a few hits and dodge the next attack just in time. They don't keep the same rhythm either. One moment they're lunging and spinning in sync, and the next they separate and attack from different angles, which makes it harder to predict their moves.
Dude, how do you feel?
I had to stay patient, watching for the smallest pauses to land safe attacks and then moving back quickly before they come swinging again. The jumps cover a lot of ground and their spinning attacks can catch you if you misjudge timings even slightly, so I had to stay precise with every movement without healing or skills. Every hit I took mattered, so I couldn't get careless or rush in for extra strikes. After I absolutely demolished them, this thing rotated and 3 dudes spawned in. After that, I basically used the white key that I obtained before. Do you remember that? No. We used the elevator to go down. We basically enter like the White Ward Underworks area. I binded to this section over here and I learned the claw line. Now I'm able to zip through strings. After I obtained the claw line, I basically went through High Halls area. This is just more parkour, more gliding down. I went across this thing over here and I talked to Ballador and learned the conductor's melody. This is one of the 3 melodies that I needed. Then I entered like another wave of mini bosses. I defeated all them. He thought he was him, but he hasn't met me yet. I spoke to Trobio and then now we're gonna fight him. Trobio in Curse Mode is a fight that keeps you moving the whole time because he has so many attacks and almost no pauses between them. He uses fireworks that explode after a short delay, and if you don't move quickly you can get hit. On top of that, he shoots bouncing firework balls that leave smoke on the ground, which makes dodging trickier and limits where you can stand safely. Trobio also spins across the arena in a tornado attack, and when he lands he sends out smaller tornadoes that move towards you. By the end, my focus was completely locked in the whole fight, moving constantly, dodging and hitting only when it was safe. When he finally fell, it wasn't luck. It was staying patient, watching his attacks and taking advantage of every little pause he gave to land damage. I also obtained the Sacred Seal over here and sang my song to this guy over here and learned the Vault Keeper's melody. This is 2 out of the 3 melodies I needed, and then now we entered Cogwork Core, aka like the Path of Pain. This pathway, you guys know, everything needs to be perfect. The jumps, the timings, the swings. I did end up dying a few times here, but it's okay. I did end up getting to the max height and got baited by these 2 things, and yeah, I died. But after I made it to the tippity top, we did this music puzzle thing. I did all 4 of them. This is the 3rd one, this is the 4th one. Then we sat on this thing. These guys all woke up, so I sang my song to them. I was spitting bars, man. I also learned the Architect's melody. Now we can go up to these guys, sing my song to these guys as well, go up the elevator, and then now it's time to fight Lace the 2nd time. Lace before the Cradle in Curse Mode is a fight that makes you stay on your toes the entire time. She jumps, lunges, and swings without pauses, so I had to keep rolling and jumping constantly, making sure I wasn't in the wrong spot when she struck. Sometimes she would move toward me and suddenly leap away, and I had to adjust my position quickly to follow and be ready to hit. She mixes up her attacks, going from fast lunges to wide swings, which means I couldn't predict her moves easily and had to stay alert every second. I watched for little pauses or when she slowed down just a tiny bit to land hits safely, and even then I had to pull back immediately before the next attack came.
Are you serious right now, bro?
There were moments where she almost trapped me in a corner and I had to think fast to dodge and get out. Because I couldn't heal or use any skills, every strike I took mattered, so staying calm and moving carefully was important. Lace is gone. But after I spoke to her, we entered like the Silk Web thing again. This happens every single time we defeat a boss that's related to Silk, and we entered the Cradle, and now we're gonna challenge Grandmother Silk. Are you guys ready?
No.
Grandmother Silk in Curse Mode is a fight that keeps you on edge from start to finish because she floats above the arena, controlling 6 splinting blades that can strike from almost anywhere, and you have to keep constantly track of where each one is moving. She swings, spins, and launches her needles in different directions, and sometimes they come together in patterns and leave very little space. On top of that, she sends out 6 webs that can block parts of the arena, forcing me to change where I move and stay flexible to avoid getting trapped. Her attacks don't always come in the same order, so I had to pay attention to small tells in her movement to know when it was safe to move or attack. Even when I landed a few hits, I had to pull back quickly because the needles can come hit me if I stayed in one spot for too long. And because I couldn't heal or use any skills, every bit of damage I took mattered. This fight felt non-stop, like I was moving, dodging, and striking almost the whole time, and there was moments to find an opening, but I had to stay patient and keep watching her movements to find the right times to hit. Now watch me absolutely choke her. Literally choke. And that is Hollow Knight Silksong in Cursed Mode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know if you guys want more challenges like this in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.